time.
Yeah. Yeah, they should be popping in right about now.
Get them all in. So we got a nice audience so that for this show we can break down some coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, man, it's been like crazy between the Eagles injuries, this coaching, the Flyers giving us heart attacks. It's just been sports wise. And oh yeah, by the way, the Phillies have won 5 out of 6.
Yeah, it's been an up and down 2020. That's for sure. We have not had. It's been a very weird year for Philadelphia. That's for sure. But it's I guess that's what we signed up for.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess we could start. Yeah, people will just come in and then they'll just catch in. Hey everybody, yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 what the fuck was that? Anyway, this is Real Time with Prince Blue. Today is, what is it? It's September. What is it, Austin? September
September 2nd.
2nd. Day after the first, everybody got their checks, me included.
There we go.
So, I gotta thank you, sweetheart. My lovely assistant just bought my mouse.
There we go.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
All right, get out here. So I got a very special guest with me. I got Sixers insider, writer for the Painted Lines, Mr. Austin Krell, aka 47. That's my nickname for him, aka
Everyone
47,
told me that for
because
the
he's
longest time.
rattling. He's just rattling it off. He got
Exactly.
all the news for y'all. We're gonna talk about these Sixers coaching search. Is it even a search? I don't know, but I'm about to ask. Also, it doesn't sound like a search to me. Sounds like a foregone conclusion. Then we're gonna talk about some other stuff. I'm serious that I wasn't gonna tell him because I want his natural reaction. I don't want him preparing because he's a professional. If I would have gave him a list of questions, he would have tried to be all PC, and that's not what I want. That's not this show.
Oh dear.
This show is completely fucked.
always ready
That's
to go.
right, Trey. We getting the tea, baby. So, Austin, first of all, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not bad. Just it's you're trying to watch the playoffs. And I'm writing for a website, another besides the Painted Lines, for a guy who is a host at WIP, Vince Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing general observations every week. It's like a weekly column. So I have to watch every game. I push myself to watch basically every game to sort of find a storyline that I can develop and go with each game. So it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun too.
Look at you trying to be some damn body. I write for him. I write for this. But nah, man. But also, we've gotten news ever since, man. Let's say even like a couple days, maybe a week before Brett Brown was going to get fired. It was mutual interest between the Sixers and Ty Lue, and now there was just another report from Mannix that stated that the Sixers going to aggressively pursue him, and the way that it was worded was this. I mean, it's just about him just finishing whatever playoff run this is, and then it's like it's going to be like announced the next day. That's the way I read it. Am I wrong to think that way, Austin? What are you hearing?
So the way it's been been laid out to me is that well, first the Ty Lue stuff has been it's been silent, but it's been there for about a year, and they've been having conversations. There have been whispers, and a lot of it stems back to, or I should say, I guess almost all of it stems back to the fact that Ty Lue is a LeBron guy, and LeBron's a Clutch guy, and Clutch represents Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons inherently is going to have an association with Ty Lue, And ever since last year when Brett was really about to get fired, like they were right there with him, about to go. Joel and Elton Brand obviously saved his job the last day because they went in there and they vouched for him, and they were like, give him another year. And the owners said, well, we got these two, or we got our general manager and our star player saying that, let's do it. And as it pertains to Jimmy Butler, I think everyone knew that he would have outlasted Brett Brown, because Brett Brown was basically at the end of his run. So I mean, to me, it's very obvious that it wasn't about as much Brett as it was Ben Simmons. People saying, "Hey, we're not gonna be here long if Jimmy's back." And so the whispers have been there for over a year, but now obviously as we get close to the time where the Sixers are eliminated, they go down 3-0. Then all these obviously political reports come out about Brett Brown and what he's done. Front office trying to shovel shit at him and to save themselves. Ever since that kind of happened, they got louder and louder and louder. And then now here we are in a situation where basically it's everyone was like, they want Jay Wright, they want Jay Wright, they want Jay Wright. Like, Jay Wright got to be the guy. Ownership and Brian Colangelo absolutely wanted Jay Wright years ago. And back after I think 2017-18, when they went to the second round and lost to Boston, they were thinking about trying to throw as much money as they could at Jay Wright to come coach the team. And Brett said, they went on a run, so it was hard to justify. I mean, you can't just fire a guy after that. And then so they've always had Jay Wright on the mind, but today when he says I'm not a candidate, it basically says, okay, well that's certainly one of their top three choices is gone now, and so that leaves the loudest name in the room, which is going to be Ty Lue, and I don't think I think it's extremely, extremely real.
Okay, with that said, I'm being nice when I say it's divided among the fan base wanting Ty Lue, and it's for different reasons. He's not bringing LeBron with him. He got fired 6 games after LeBron, which I'm pretty sure you could get into that as I can too about why that was, and it wasn't as simple as because they were 0-6. Give me 3 pros for Lue and 3 cons working against Lue, and what kind of a coach are the Sixers getting if they do get Tyronn Lue?
Well, so I think the number one thing that no one can overlook is that he's won titles as both a player and a coach, and not even just any coach, but a head coach at that. And on top of that, he's also a point guard, and point guards by nature, they know the game very well. They're supposed to be floor generals, and they are going to know the game, at a very high level. And combine that with someone being, he's won on both as a player and as a coach. He knows what it takes to win championships. He can identify, the culture, and when you have the pieces needed, he's going to know what that looks like, and he's going to know what infrastructure they need in place to do that. And I also think that with Ty Lue, if you look at the numbers that the Cavs had with Ty Lue as head coach, I mean, he takes over in the middle of the season, and then he goes on to win a championship. And obviously, you could say LeBron, went crazy in that series, which he did. It's totally true, he did. But you also need more than LeBron James. You need a voice bigger than along with LeBron James to keep your guys in check when you're down 3-1. A lot of players might just check out at that, and they might say, "We're down 3-1. Fuck it. They're 73-9. We're done." They rallied and they win the series. And you need powerful voices up above leading the way to keep you active, keep you focused, keep you going. And I don't think you can just say that was a LeBron thing and that he went crazy and he saved everybody. He has to have buy-in from the players around him. And I think that comes from the coach. I think that comes from LeBron James, obviously. So I think he knows how to hold guys accountable more so than Brett Brown did. And I think he's won at both the player and a coach. He's a point guard, and I think he has a history of holding players accountable. And the vibe that I get is that it's maybe not necessarily as much about the clutch involvement. And believe me, there is certainly a factor there that the clutch has, but it's the fact that he can adjust. He knows how to adjust in games, and that was not something Brett Brown would do. And that was a big reason as to why Brown wasn't here, and that's a big focal point in what they're looking for in the next coach. And Elton Brand even said it: we need more basketball minds here. And that was obviously a subtweet or a shot at the front office, but also a hint at what they're looking for and as candidates for people to be in the front office, as well as people to steer the ship on the court.
Okay, so with that said, because let's not fucking kid ourselves here. It's about Ben Simmons and it's about Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
With what you're hearing and what you've seen in your own research, what kind of system is he bringing here offensively for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid? Is Ben Simmons back at the point, or is he still he's still at the 4 right now as constructed right now? What do you think Ty Lue is thinking with these two building blocks?
So, well, I think there's going to be a natural inclination to point Ben Simmons back to the point guard position, because I mean, as soon as you implant Ty Lue into that organization, Clutch Sports is going to have a very heavy voice in everything that they do, and they're going to want to feature their star Ben Simmons at in a position where he's in the spotlight. So I would think that Ben is going to come back to the point guard spot, and maybe not to the extent that it's like actively hurting the team and it's obvious, but maybe to the point where it's like, we're not just going to hog him at power forward. We're not going to just sit him in dunker spot. We're going to give him some on-ball duties, but we're also going to try him in other spots too. And so I think you're going to see that structure in place, and I also think that you're going to see Embiid with more play on the block. And I think another thing that is going to sort of alleviate the pressure on the players from an offensive standpoint is the fact that they're not going to have this burden of constantly giving up easy baskets on defense, and they're going to play a little looser on offense because they know that they don't have to match teams bucket for bucket, or else they're going to lose every game. Like this year, it was open jumpers from the mid range all day long, every day, and it drove everybody nuts. And then Joel feels like he has to go out and drop 35, 40 points every night to give them a chance to win because their defense is so is so fucked. It's stupid. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what Ty Lue is going to be looking at. But I also think that they're not going to be done after Ty Lue. I think they're going to bring him in, and there's going to be a lot of voices with Elton Brand, not in the bad sense, like the sense that we've come to know, but rather
none of that collaboration shit.
No, that's over. That's at least
okay.
That's my understanding. That's over. But what I will say is that you're going to have Elton Brand. You're going to have the head coach. Let's say it's Ty Lue. You're going to have Joel Embiid. You're going to have Ben Simmons. It's going to be collaborative in the sense that we're not just going to listen to these these people who
analytic
nerds. Right. So we're going to do what makes sense from a basketball standpoint, and I think they're heavily going to pursue shooters this offseason, whether it be unloading.
Don't you tease me, Austin.
whether it be like including young players like Matisse or Shake, or attaching draft picks. I think they're going to do as much as they can to find a way to unload one of their albatross contracts, and I think Al Horford's going to be the one. If it's either of them, and I think that there are murmurs that it could involve Oklahoma City or possibly Sacramento. Those teams are known to have had interest in Al Horford, at least in the past.
And damn, I wish they would have did it a year ago when Vladdy was still there, because he seems to be shitty when it comes to making basketball decisions. But okay, with that said, okay, I see they're finally going to do basketball things, not analytical things, which tells us that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid need to play a different style than what they were playing with Brett Brown.
Sure.
Got it. Good. Cool. Okay. Um, why, besides the clutch, what is it that's really attracting Ty Lue to Elton Brand? And the rest of the ownership is possibly going to sign off on this. It's not really a box office name. He's not like he's not bringing like a whole bunch of cachet. I'm talking about far as longevity as a coach. So why Ty Lue and why not one of these young hot shots from another staff or something along that lines? What is it about Ty Lue that has Elton Brand enamored?
Well, so think about it from the sense that, okay, Elton Brand's a former player, and Elton Brand is going to obviously have a lot of respect for contemporaries who have played the game in the NBA. They know what being a player is like. They identify with players, and they've also been established in within an organization off the court, meaning as a coach or whatever role Ty Lue has had elsewhere. And I think it's also this sense of he can relate to players in a way that maybe an older guy like Brett Brown, and I don't mean to make this about like a color thing, but let's be honest here, an old white man can do.
Please do. Please do. It's okay.
That's the reality of it. I think Elton Brand sees that there's not a lot of heavy landscape of intelligent black men coaching NBA teams, and that's probably I hope that's not the main reason why, because then you might be picking a poor candidate when in reality there might be a better one out there. But the fact that I think that's a small piece that maybe it plays to Ty Lue's advantage is you have a black GM, you have a head coach who is the candidate who is black, and that might be something like, okay, that might be an opportunity to look into something like that. But then you also have the fact that he was a former player, and he's won titles. He knows what it takes to win titles, and above all else, which is I believe most important of all, is the fact that there are stories of Ty Lue, not just being overridden by LeBron. He says, no, fuck you, like I'm the coach. And he holds LeBron accountable, and LeBron respects him more for it. There are stories like that are public knowledge, and and so if you can hold LeBron accountable to whatever extent it might have been, maybe that says a lot. That says a lot about what you can do with players like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. But I'll tell you this:
Go ahead, Austin.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter who he's held accountable in the past. It doesn't. I don't care if it's Michael Jordan or LeBron James or whoever. It's going to be ultimately on the players themselves to absorb what he's telling them and to step up and elevate themselves. And
okay, so let's get into that, because you brought up a very good point, and I'm gonna say this: it's twofold. It's no coincidence that they're bringing in a former point guard, because I believe they want to put Ben back to the point guard spot.
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, I think that Elton Brand wants a voice that can resonate with two young players, where if they put on the tape, they're not going to just see a guy that was just hanging on to win title, a guy that was a good contributor to titles. He's going to see a guy who coached arguably the GOAT of this generation, and they came down from 3-1 to beat a team where we've seen our Sixers team go down 0-1 and they call it quits.
Yeah.
Swept. So I think Ty Lue's going to come in swinging. And then my question to you on top of that is, when Elton Brand sits down with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and Ty Lue, are they going to be like, Ben, fuck this bullshit, you're going to shoot. Embiid, come in here 15, 20 pounds down, or I promise you, your fat ass are going to be sitting on the damn bench. Is those some of the conversations that are going to be had from what you're hearing? Like Elton Brand kept talking about how he said we're going to have some tough conversations
Yeah.
and we're going to get our stars. Everybody's going to have to buy into what we're doing. Is that what you're hearing? Am I pretty much spot on to how they're going to approach these two young stars?
Well, I think with Ben Simmons, there's absolutely going to be an extent to which, where they say, look, if you're not going to shoot the ball, number one, we're gonna bench you. If we have to bench you, you'll see your minutes reduced if you're not going to shoot the ball. Secondary, there's also other ways that they can do this that Ben will get the message, but it won't be as public as that, and it also won't be where you're now sacrificing wins for the sake of teaching Ben Simmons a lesson. So maybe they move him off the ball into a dunker spot where he isn't as in the spotlight, and then that maybe that teaches him a little bit. But I think you'll see that more with Ben than you will Joel. But the reason is this: the only way to get in the basketball shape is to play basketball, and you're gonna have to, if you want him in shape, you're gonna have to play him. And beyond that, he also has the luxury and the sort of the advantage of saying if not like literally saying, but you can argue from the perspective of if you sit Joel Embiid, your defense is gonna go down the tubes, as it always does, and then one of your primary contributors on offense is also not going to be playing as well. So I mean, Joel sort of has this leverage a bit of okay, try answering this to the public as to why Joel Embiid's not playing as many minutes. So I mean, I think to a lesser extent Joel, but I would say certainly Ben Simmons is going to have to show growth. By the same token, now let's say things don't pan out as people would like. This is also a danger zone as well. Ben and Ty Lue have grown close. They're associated by agencies. If Rich Paul doesn't like what he's seeing in the dynamic, he's going to let either of them know. This is another opportunity for the Sixers to implant someone who has had a long-standing relationships, perhaps maybe even impartial to Ben Simmons, and show favoritism to him again. So it could be more of the same, which is not what anyone wants to hear, but it's just evaluating relationships. But I think the real danger here is, does Joel Embiid want Ty Lue to be the coach? Because if they bring him in and Joel isn't all for it, and it's clear that Ben is getting favored, you then have a ticking time bomb with your star player when you start having to field trade requests.
But this is me. It's like any marriage or anything when you're introducing somebody to stepkids or whatever. There's no way on God's green earth that Elton Brand didn't reach out to Joel Embiid's people and say, "Hey, these Ty Lue rumors you're hearing," or an agent who's good and worth his salt. "Hey, I'm hearing through tea leaves.
Sure.
You're talking about another clutch guy coming in. Hey, what does that mean for my client, my guy?" There's no way on God Green's earth that they haven't had that conversation and that it's been stamped by Embiid and he likes what he hears, that they can go on full press and start leaking this stuff and saying how it's going to work and stuff like this. I mean, help me if I'm wrong. I mean, you got to have those conversations.
Yeah, and I think they have, but I also look at the fact that look at what they've done over the past year and a half. They've gotten rid of literally Joel Embiid's two favorite players in the team. They then go out and sign a guy to play the same position as him and essentially say, we're not going to bank on your health. We're going to bring somebody in who we know we can rely on if you go down. And then, they fire Brett Brown, which had to happen. That this Embiid can cry about that all he wants, but I mean, they've given him reason to believe that that the priority is not him necessarily. The priority is things have been favored to not be, it isn't favored towards Joel Embiid anymore. It's clearly favored in if not towards Ben Simmons, at least to the long-term success in the future of the team. I mean, they literally signed a $109 million insurance policy. That's what they did. So
yeah,
I think that they obviously are going to talk to Joel and make sure that he's satisfied. But I also think that they're not going to be like at his every beck and call and like, you know, like let him like put his feet up on their backs like he's the king.
Hey, Ghostwriter, you probably appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the question. You probably came in after, but Austin spoke on that Austin, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said this Ty Lue thing is sort of kind of it's not if, it's more of a when. So
I'll put it to you
far
this
as
way.
dates, are we talking like playoffs or things like that?
I'll put it to you this way. What this coaching search is, at least from what the vibe that I understand, that I get, is that they're putting a fishing net into a pond of one fish.
So pretty much, are they waiting for Ty Lue to finish the playoffs, or is it
So
like football to where you can't interview a guy while they're actively? What is it?
so I believe, and don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that, you know, that they right now it'd be considered tampering, and obviously Ty Lue doesn't want to send a message that
Right.
he's already gone with the Clippers,
Right.
whatever. But I think as soon as they're out, they can, you know, begin to have those conversations, and even if they legally by league rules can't, they will, because that's how that works. But you know, I think you start having a little more leeway once the season ends for your team, and then there's definitely, like, after the season ends, they'll have like I think they pretty rapidly go into the moratorium period for free agency, and then you'll start to see those things kick up. But I think as teams begin to get eliminated and changes are made, you'll begin to see, you know, hear more, you know, more rumors about Ty Lue. It'll heat up more. There may even be some more guys enter the picture. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be the next head coach, because
Right.
I know that Kevin Durant wants Ty Lue as well, and I've heard that Kevin Durant's very close with Steve Nash, and that's something that has been passed around, maybe that Steve Nash might be a dark horse candidate, even though that's a name that hasn't been really brought up that much. Mm-hmm. And now we see today that Greg Popovich's house is on the market in San Antonio, so that's been rumored there as well. But
I've heard they want to throw the farm at Popovich.
Yeah, as they should.
Owner, like they want
right.
to just. I mean, and Durant loves Greg, loves him.
Oh yeah,
loves him.
Oh yeah.
But I think the Ty Lue thing, I believe more Ty Lue to the Sixers more than the Durant and Kyrie thing, because I just, for some reason, I don't think Ty Lue would be able to put up with Kyrie like that.
He's coached him. He's coached
him, but I just think that he look at Durant and Kyrie, and he looks at Ben and Joel, not far as talent wise, but I think he sees that maybe he can have a little bit more cachet, especially with Elton being an Elton guy, handpicked by Elton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it could go either way, but for some reason, I just don't see Ty Lue in Brooklyn. I just don't see it. I see him more with the Sixers than I do Brooklyn for some reason.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like it's infinitely harder to coach star players once they've won championships. And so, you know, that might be Ty Lue might have an easier time with Ben and Joel than he would with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But they've also they have that, you know, Kyrie has that previous experience with Ty Lue. They both won championships. They know what it takes to win a title. But I mean, there's a great story when Hubie Brown replaced whoever was coaching whatever team he was with previously. You know, they got fired, and they bring Hubie Brown in the coach. And his first day in practice, he's like, "Listen up, shut the fuck up, all of you. Like, you guys all fucking suck. That's why I'm here, because you guys are all a bunch of losers. But I'm gonna teach you how to win." And he made them better. like cross-eyed Hubie Brown comes in and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, you're all losers. I'm gonna show you how to win."
I love, first of all, I love when Hubie does games.
He's hilarious. He's great. I love him.
He breaks it down like nobody's business. And Hubie's old school. He's like, I don't give a fuck if you're 7'11" and play like a guard.
Yeah.
Listen, I've coached more games and more basketball than you fucking been born. Like, I got this. So
for sure.
I can believe that story. Definitely can believe that
for sure.
And I think that Ty Lue has a little bit of that in him too, because from all accounts, if he was able to tell LeBron to shut the fuck up, I got this. You going to talk about a set of balls,
right? And I mean, they even had a spat during the game 7 of the NBA Finals. They had some friction in that game, and they end up winning a title. And I don't think we can sort of discount the fact that it's unbelievably hard to come in mid-season and take over for a head coach, and and come in there and then be down 3-1 against arguably the greatest team of all time and still win that series. I mean, I don't care who you have as your best player. You have to still. It's a balancing act up and down the roster. You have to have discipline and structure, and I think Ty Lue knows how to get the best out of people, and make his voice heard.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so that's our Sixers stuff. Man, you're on it, man. You're on it. I'm trying to think if I have one more Sixers question. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, because I want to speak to Troll. I want to speak to Troll Austin.
Oh man,
the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals right now, playoffs. It has to be Jimmy Butler, correct?
Absolutely. I have to admit, he has everything I've said. He has basically given me a big middle finger. He's proven me 100% wrong.
Nobody works harder than Jimmy Butler. Nobody.
Sure.
But I will tell
something.
you this. But on that note, it is. How do you think management? Because those guys, they listen to social media. How do you think they feel about Joel tweeting about Jimmy Butler?
They don't like it. Oh, there's no chance that they definitely don't like it. And that I don't know that it's creating a divide per se, but they certainly have it on the radar and they don't appreciate it. But here's the reality of the situation. I mean, they've allowed this team to get basically taken over by two kids in their mid-20s who have no experience in the NBA, no idea how to win. So, they've been thinking how do we appease these two guys. Fuck that. It's about these are the pieces we have in front of us. This is the distance we are from the goal, from winning. What do we need to get there? And Jimmy Butler brings you closer to that goal. So the fact that that they let Joel's best friend really walk out of the building and they only got Josh Richardson back for him, Joel's shoving it in their face right now. And he's joking, he's trolling, but there's also an element to that no, this is him communicating in his own way that everything's not all sunshine. It's not all sun and rainbows. It's no, he isn't completely happy right now, and they need to make changes before the break is too much to clean up.
All right, Austin, got a question for you. Do you believe it was Ben or Brett in factor of Jimmy leaving?
100%. It was 10 to 20% Brett and much more Ben Simmons. Ben was not going to be back. If signing here a max extension, if Jimmy leaves or Jimmy's still here, and I mean, that's just that's every story that I've heard. But also look at the timeline of events. They basically laid it out for you. As soon as free agency opens up, bam, Ben's contract's done. 2 minutes later, Jimmy's been signed and traded. So I mean, right there.
Well, Austin, I'm struggling because Ben Simmons didn't want to come off the ball for an all-star star made man in Jimmy Butler, but he was willing to let Shake fucking Milton take the point guard spot. Now, was he doing that? Now, my psychology hat, my petty hat says, Shake, go run the point. They'll want me by in 10 games. They'll want me back. Versus a Jimmy, they could be like, shit, he's actually good at running the fucking point. I may be in a dunker spot for a little longer. Tell me I'm wrong.
So I think it's less about that and more about the fact that Jimmy Butler wasn't just going to let Ben Simmons coast by and like get away with not being a shooter. And he was gonna sit, like the Chris Haynes article said it all. Like Ben took exception to a freaking text message from Jimmy Butler. A text message. A text message. Of all
How
things,
does he come off like an android, but he's this fucking sensitive?
right. So that's a big part of it. He didn't like the fact that there was a voice there that wasn't saying, that wasn't like, giving him a golden spoon. He didn't like that, and that's what that was. Karate Mark, what's up?
What up?
What up?
That's my guy, man. In the car, in the plane, running from Mystic Storm. That's my guy.
Alicia's still working out, so I gotta go get some beer.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Alicia's working out. You going to get beer?
Damn right, my workout's done.
My man, my man. But while I got you on, KM, you got anything for our Sixers insider you want to ask him? Because Sixers is your heart, man.
Ask. I got a lot to say.
Okay.
Go for it.
I said it all to you the other day. They can all, every last one of them, kiss my ass. Until next season.
He did say that.
If there's a new coach that comes in, they could still kiss my ass until they prove it otherwise. I'm on the side of this team's got a ton of talent and Brett had to go. Brett's gone. With Brett here, they all could have kissed my ass. They didn't play like men should play. I don't know how many people in Philly watched Phoenix and Denver a couple days ago. Dog, that was one of the best basketball games I ever seen in my life.
And they played defense. They defended the basketball.
Refused to lose that game. He refused to lose that game. Murray refused to lose that game. Neither one of them were willing to let the other one win. One of them won, but neither one of them let it. And that's what I need to see from our team. And I don't care who's coaching next year. I need to see that from my guys. Till then, they can kiss my ass. I'm gonna still rock the jerseys though.
And KM, I believe you and I on the same wavelength when I say, again, I know it sounds cheesy, but when you're a Philly athlete, it has to physically hurt. Like, I've called out of work after losses because I'm like, I'm going to fucking write 1 million tickets tonight because I'm pissed off. Or, yo, Lord forbid somebody pissed me off at a domestic call. They're going to jail tonight. Like, we want it to hurt. It doesn't seem like it hurts with these guys. I mean, Joel cried, but then he showed right back up. We was wondering.
A lot of people. Somebody posted something because Spider was crying yesterday, and someone was like, "Oh, everybody wanted to make fun of Joe last year, but nobody's making fun of Spider this year." Joe ain't leaving on the floor. Joe didn't die with.
Joel was crying, number one, because he felt like his coach didn't get fired because of it. And number two, he wasn't able to perform up to snuff, and he felt like he let everybody down.
And because he had diarrhea. Diarrhea.
Right. But I'll tell you what should make all fans much, much, much more angry than anything related to the actual on-court product. The fact that they want to try to get people to pay for their arena in Penn's Landing is the biggest joke of all. And I know we're live and recorded. I don't care. You cannot as own.
It's called real time.
I know.
Go ahead.
PR might care though. But it's absolutely horrendous that they want to put that product on the court. Play these games with the public, raise ticket prices, and then they have the balls to try to get taxpayers to fund their venture in Center City. I mean, what a joke and a crooked disgrace that is. If they want to move to Camden, and which is probably what it is in the end, they probably want to get over to Camden because of the differences in taxes and whatnot. Let them fucking move to Camden. We can all put Waze in our GPSs or our phones and go to Camden. But do not give them a cent of your money for tickets or whatever to fund that arena in Penn's Landing. That is horrendous.
Austin, I know I said we was gonna get off Sixers, but this is me and Mark. This is our love. I'm looking at. I just got
Love
an alert on my
hurts.
phone that the Heat are leading the Bucks 90 to 86, and there's possibility they're going to go up 2-0. How again? I get it. People like you can't cry with Jimmy Butler, blah blah blah. But you see what type of an impact that type of guy has on a team. Like I get it. You got to juggle egos and all that stuff, but the Sixers they took so many missteps. It just, like I said, if Brett was gone after the Boston series that he lost without Kyrie, we might be looking at a chip, especially last year. That one versus Toronto and them. If we had a different coach in here and we had Jimmy still here. So I can't help but look and see like, what the fuck, man? Like,
it's really all you can say.
Like when if I'm sitting in there and I'm Elton Brand, I'm like, Jimmy, what's wrong? This kangaroo motherfucker right here. He doesn't hold Ben accountable. I'm not gonna play that shit. Blah blah. I said, say no more. Brett, you're done. Good night. Good night, Brett. Like, thank you. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for losing a lot. We appreciate you. Bye bye. I just don't understand what went into that decision, but that's here nor there. But going forward, man, I just hope that they really let Elton and the basketball minds make decisions, and we put a product on the floor that's Sixers basketball. None of this hokey shit we've been having the past 2 years. We need Sixers basketball back. We just lost John Thompson, who coached AI, and the realest probably that's ever been on the court. Like I never felt cheated. Me and Mark had this conversation. We never felt cheated with AI on the floor. I feel cheated with Ben and Joel. Multiple games I could point to where I was like, I don't think they give a shit.
Well, that's the era of basketball that's been bred. I mean, Allen Iverson comes from the Virginia area, bad neighborhood, and he's been raised to play the game in a gritty way. Joel and Ben, Joel comes from an area where he was it wasn't well off necessarily, but he's been basically said that he was going to be a star, in whatever he did. And then ended up being basketball. Ben Simmons has been the best player on the court for how many years before the NBA, and he's just starting to figure out that he needs to add to his game. Yeah, now, I mean, above all else, I think the biggest misstep that this franchise has done is they've failed to put a shot creator on the floor outside of Jimmy Butler. I don't know how you can go around today's NBA and not like put a shot creator on the floor.
Donovan, Jamal Mitchell, Kemba Walker.
All you have to do is literally take a gander across the landscape of the NBA. Celtics have Jason Tatum. The Jazz have Donovan Mitchell. The Nuggets have Jamal Murray, and they have Will Barton. Jimmy Butler was here. D'Angelo Russell was here, or he existed, obviously. All you need to do is look at the landscape of the NBA to make much better decisions about this basketball team. And instead, you have a contract with Tobias Harris, who, albeit is an okay creator off the dribble, really not that great, but okay. Nobody, and the agents have told me this, nobody wants that contract. Nobody's ever going to take that contract. They got to move Al Horford. That's the only ticket they have to actually maybe save this thing. And I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try real hard.
Who's desperate and horny enough to trade for Al Horford?
I think teams.
Did you say Al Horford or Anna Horford?
I think teams still believe that Al Horford, in a better fitting situation, with a less laissez-faire system on offense, could be what he once was. But I don't think they're willing to I think they're going to want assets too. But they're going. I think that there is a market for him for sure.
I think the only contract that's got a chance of being moved is Richardson.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be here on the team next year either. I think they're gonna attach him.
What happened to him? What happened to him, Austin? I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
He's got no fit on this squad.
Yeah. No, it's true.
What happened to him? What are you hearing? What happened to him? It can't be just because he's used to the Heat culture. Like, what happened?
He was not happy with his role, and that was expressed, different points all season long. And I think ultimately he just sort of didn't know what his job was supposed to do. He didn't,
coaching again. And T. Will, you in here, Iron, you in here. When you're a coach, how do you not talk to your players and establish roles for them? Like, I don't understand. You had Korkmaz coming in like he was
a savior,
John Paxson 2.0 or whoever you want to. It was so bad. Like, nobody had a fit. Like, nobody. I don't understand.
So you read the articles. So the articles from Keith Pompey or whatever. I mean, Ben, he would literally ask assistant coach, why the fuck isn't Ben shooting the ball? He would literally go to his assistant coaches and say, like if he isn't in shape, we're all gonna get fired. He did not like confrontation. It was painfully obvious he didn't like confrontation, and with that can come, if a guy doesn't like his role, there's going to be confrontation. So how do you avoid that? You leave roles undefined, and you let the roles make themselves.
They let this guy linger in this organization. They let him have that much say, and this guy is scared to put a player in check.
That's what everything points to.
You've had multiple players come up to this guy and be like, why the fuck are these guys getting away with murder? And this I'm getting a migraine because
I see T. Will. I can just hear it in his voice, like the loud T. Will voice. I mean, Brett, by all accounts, was a drill sergeant in practice, but he also pedestalized guys like he pedestalized Ben and Joel, and that right there is the very core of the issues with this franchise and this team. They felt like they could get away with anything they wanted, and they didn't feel like they had to respond to criticism. They didn't feel like they had to really do anything. They thought that they could just do it their way.
Everybody signed with the fucking Bucks. Fournette's going to the Bucks. You know what? For that alone, they're now the Rams. They're hated because everybody wants to go there and chase a ring, and they're gonna end up losing like 85-3 to some other fuck team. I'm sorry. He might fucking love the Buccaneers all of a sudden. It's only one person I know that's a Buccaneers fan, and that's Key Husband. He's been a Buccaneers fan since day one. Everybody else can kiss my ass. Ain't no other Buck fans out there. Okay, I got a Mike Allstott jersey. That shows you how far back I go to the damn Bucks. Anyway, going back to the Sixers and Brett Brown, like, why did he keep his job so long, Austin? Was it because he took shrapnel? Is it really because the front office felt bad for him? Is it because what is it? What?
So keep in mind how fast this team went from like 10 wins to 28 wins to 52 wins. I mean, it was like, as quickly as possible, they turn around and they're ready to contend right then and there. So, I think that they were sort of shocked by that. And so, whatever shortcomings Brown had, they say, okay, we can attribute that to, the players being inexperienced. They're growing though. And, we're happy with this. Last season, it was very, very beneficial to Brett Brown that Elton Brand was named the GM, because Brett Brown advocated heavily for Elton Brand to be the GM. And that was obviously, their relationship was huge when it came time for Brand to defend Brown when they were getting ready to push Brett out. And so Brett, stayed, past last year because you have your star player in Joel Embiid and you have the GM, basically lobbying for him to still be there. And, they finally said, they had enough. They wanted to bring on a sexier name than Brett Brown, and they wanted to move on, but they had voices within the organization that said, this is the guy I ride with, and so they let it be.
I hope those voices are gone. Are they still in the building? Fuck.
I don't know how Joel feels right now, but I mean, I know Elton Brand ultimately had to make he had to do it. It was going to happen, and I think what you said previously has kind of stuck with me. Yes, I think that it helped Brett Brown, the fact that he could be a mouthpiece for the organization. They could just put him out there in front of the media, in front of the cameras, and he could give his long-winded answers, and they didn't really have to come out and say anything. I mean, Josh Harris puts out like a 3-sentence statement in his notepad on his phone when Brett Brown gets fired. He's not at the press conference the day afterward. He leaves Elton Brand to do that.
So is that more of he just doesn't know how to be an owner, or is that more he wasn't really a Brett guy? Because there's rumors that there's people up there that really wasn't Brett guys.
He wasn't a Brett guy, but I also think that he just had no idea what to say to the media. I mean, he it's intimidating, and for a guy who's a private equity investor, somebody who is speaking in an entirely different language than what he's used to. It's not a fun environment, and he's not used to being embarrassed by that. And I'm sure that guy like Howard Eskin or someone, another reporter, could have made him look bad. So he avoids it by sending out a guy like Brett Brown who can answer questions, a guy like Elton Brand who can answer questions.
Joke. When you make a monumental decision like that, you be there. Even if you be like, I'm gonna have to defer to my main man Elton on this, you be there. That's why they need to sell this team, because they're a joke. You don't. I get it. It's a new era. You don't put out nothing on your fucking notepad. Nothing says 2020 than a statement on your notepad or your iPhone.
For sure,
a billionaire that owns a business, a corporation.
For sure, and a Readerson makes an interesting point. Hinkie used to hide in the basement. That's kind of that was a factor that played against Hinkie, but certainly helped the Sixers. I mean, keep in mind the fact that Elton Brand last summer shows his cards and literally has to buy Matisse Thybulle off the Celtics. Sam Hinkie didn't put anything out there. Reporters hated it because they couldn't get anything out of Sam Hinkie. He was quiet. It was airtight. No one knew what was coming, so they couldn't do their job. And in return, it was kind of hard to answer questions to the media when you have a GM who won't make himself available. So for years, that was just Brett Brown's job, and that's a small part of how he got by. But lo and behold, Sam Hinkie was smart to not talk to people.
Yeah,
talking has gotten them in trouble.
And I think that's why Brett got defended as much as he did in the media. He talks too fucking much. He has a lot of people that vouch for him in the media because he will pull you to the side. You can get an interview out of him. He'll stop his morning run to talk to you. And I'm not stupid. I know that factored into why the media was like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Because when Hinkie didn't give them shit. And the media, they're pissed. That's why they didn't like Chip. They didn't get anything. No, actually, they loved Chip. Chip was an asshole to him, but they hated Hinkie. They remember first they said Doug said too much.
They hated him.
Doug doesn't say enough.
They loved Chip because they hated him, and his performance made it so easy for them to crucify him every week. It was like bulletin board material every single week with Chip.
Right.
But for Brett, keep in mind a lot of the journalists that cover the team now, are younger guys who were previously bloggers or independent bloggers or what have you. They've grown into their reputation. They've seen that they've grown with this team, and they feel like they've sort of kind of gotten close to Brett, and it's sort of in a sense it's hurt their impartiality. Now I can't lie, I do see what they're when I see their arguments for Brett, I see where they're coming from, but I also think that there were times when he needed to be criticized and he wasn't, because they felt.
Thank you, Austin. That's all we. Because we're not saying dump on a guy, but when it's time to criticize him, we're looking at you like, okay, so you're not gonna criticize that man for losing a 28-point lead, but this man over here just won by 3 touchdowns, and you're upset because he went for it on 4th down. Help me, media. Help me understand. But I already knew what the love affair for Brett was. But so many media guys were so blatant about it. But that's here nor there. Brett's no longer here anymore. Give me another name besides Ty.
So I think Kenny Atkinson is a guy who has had sort of there's been some noise there, and the reason I think that he has been mentioned in conversation has a chance because look at what he did with the Brooklyn roster that basically had no assets. He turned Karis he turned Karis LeVert into a very, very, very good player. He developed D'Angelo Russell, from a guy who was sort of trying to figure it out to a guy who is, now a bona fide, like a very good scorer, very good player. And he turned that Brooklyn Nets team into a playoff team, and not even a tough playoff team at that too.
They gave the Sixers fits.
Yeah, and so Kenny Atkinson established a culture there. And I think at the end of the day, when they're looking at candidates, the biggest advantage the coach candidate for this team can give himself is number one, accountability. I don't mean like Tom Thibodeau, like drill sergeant, but I mean you have to now be like Alain Vigneault. You have to hold guys accountable. You can't just be Kevlar for them. And I think number two is instilling a culture, a system. This is how we do things. We're going to make adjustments on defense. We're going to run legitimate offensive sets, not just put the ball in the post.
Ty Lue? Is that Ty Lue?
That is Ty Lue. I think Ty Lue is a pretty good X's and O's coach. And I think that's I think Kenny Atkinson is that. It can be that too. And
he's a culture guy.
Well, I think that they both provide structure, and I think so much of the reasons that Joel Embiid struggles with turnovers, or he kind of gets out of rhythm and gets disengaged, is because no one knows what the fuck that offense is. I mean, it's just basically a play it by ear offense, and they're just no, it's the truth. And it's like I'm looking at the plays, and I mean I know X's and O's to an extent. I know that they have basically a very condensed list of plays that they run in the NBA, and they're basically they change it up every year by changing the name of the play, but it's basically the same thing conceptually. And I don't see any kind of conceptual play that the Sixers had in the offense. It was all like, okay, we're going to enter it into the post, or okay, we're going to get Joel out to the perimeter, and then what? And I mean, there were countless offensive possessions where I'm watching it, and I'm like, there's 15 seconds left in the shot clock. The ball hasn't progressed past the 3-point line, and they don't even look like they're about to shoot the ball. So there were so many possessions that, because they had no structure offensively, basically, they got nothing out of the possession because no one knew what to do. And if you don't,
we saw that at the end of the games, the Toronto series, the two straight back-to-back
turnovers,
shot clock violations, 2 turnovers to end our season this year. They don't know what to do, and frankly, neither did the fucking coach. Yeah, that's why I said those 50 games were Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid taking a step. That's what those 2 50-game seasons were. And when they stopped taking steps, that's when you saw the next 2 seasons. So those 2 make this thing go. Get a coach in here that can make those 2 fit and build the system around them and hold them accountable. I guarantee you, 50 wins easy, and we're always contending.
I think two things. I think 2 things you'll see. Number one, you'll see fewer turnovers, not just from Embiid, but as a team overall, because they won't be running into each other. They won't be missing passes. They'll actually know they'll know where they're supposed to go on offense. Another thing you'll see is I think you'll see less blown leads with a different coach, because with offensive structure comes a playbook for how to maintain leads. Once you have a lead, it's how do you maintain it. Without a structured offense, you take your foot off the gas, and then suddenly 22 turns into 16, turns into 13, turns into 8. And then it's a whole different game anyway. So I think, with the new coach, you'll see those improvements. But I also think that, to Brett Brown's credit, it almost kind of worked when you had pieces that actually made sense. 2017-18, they had Covington, Šarić, Ilyasova, Redick, Bellinelli, and all guys who could shoot the ball, had really good shooting years. The team was so much fun to watch. They were a way better team, and the outlook was much better And the offense worked because you had shooters that fit into this freestyle offense, and as a result, the team looked better. Last couple of years, not as great shooting, and this year they're actually a pretty good shooting team, but surprisingly, I know. But without snipers, people are kind of lost and not exactly sure what they're supposed to do. And Joel was lost too. He's even said it. Your mic's dead. I can't hear you. Still can hear you. Got you. Hey, what was that?
You hear me now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happened. That's why I call it real time. And I ain't editing it. So that's good. Let's have some fun. Because my migraine talking about the Sixers.
Okay.
Boneless wings. Yay or nay?
Boneless wings, yay.
Yeah, you stuttered a little bit. I was gonna skin your ass alive. But man, what is it about why is boneless wings such a hated food? I'm trying to understand, yo. Why is it so Joe, don't start. Don't start, Joe. Why is it so controversial? I'm trying to figure out why. Why?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm sure I'm gonna get roasted for this. I've only had wings bone or boneless, I think once, twice in my entire life. I like a chicken sandwich way more than I like wings.
I like a chicken sandwich. What are you, a commie? Like, what are you talking about here? I like a chicken sandwich. Like, bro, I can. So you
catch me at Chick-fil-A every Friday. I'm on the app. I'm ordering Chick-fil-A. 2 number ones, no pickles on either. A fry and a large Coke.
You just blew the whole show. He said once or twice in my life. So if we go to a spot that's known for wings, your ass ordering a chicken sandwich.
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God.
Listen, give me a crispy chicken sandwich. I'm happy. I am. You're not gonna hear one. I'm
giving you shit. What are we? Oh my God! This guy said once or twice in my life I've maybe ate.
I'm not your typical reporter.
You got that shit right. Like, what the hell is going on? But okay. So you said you don't eat a lot of boneless wings. Okay. So what is Austin's favorite food?
I eat my one Chick-fil-A day a week is like the best day of the week for me because I love Chick-fil-A. My favorite food is French fries. I would be 30 pounds lighter if I didn't eat French fries. I love fries.
Dry?
Ketchup on the side.
Oh, I thought you was gonna go savage, like.
No, but I will tell you this: I've seen people dip French fries in their soda, and that is a violation. That's violations.
Now I've seen my son dips his fries in his Frosty.
That's kind of okay because it's ice cream.
But
it's gross, but it's ice cream.
Yeah, you're right. Let's see if I can find one. Let's see if I can find one, Joe. Let's see. Breaking news sounder. I really do need one. Breaking news sounder. Let's see if I can find one. But yeah, you just blew everything away, man. Like, what the hell?
Credibility shot.
Damn, I thought you was coming back from the Doug Peterson thing, which you done just shit, man. Shit. So French fries, ketchup on the side. Okay. Where's your favorite French fry coming from? And if you say Chick-fil-A,
No. So, in terms of like a fast food French fry, Burger King has the best fries in the market. That's a fact.
Burger King?
Oh yeah, McDonald's can be very good, give or take, but sometimes I find that they overdo the salt. The French fries ruined. Burger King is always crispy. not too salty. It's fantastic.
Burger King's fries are big, dry ass. They're just thick for no reason. Like KFC has better fries than. Oh my!
I've never been to KFC ever in my life.
Oh my God! Also, you're killing me, yo. You're killing me. You've never been to KFC.
Never been to KFC.
Have you ever been to black people's homes? That's my next question.
I have, but what's funny is this: whenever I, I've had black friends, I go over to their houses. They always ask me what I want to eat, and they always cook for me, which is I find is to be unbelievable because I'm not that hospitable. It's really wild to me, and I always ask for pancakes. I don't know what it is. No matter what time of the day, pancakes.
Okay, Prince. Can you hear this sounder? Can you hear this breaking news sounder?
Yeah, I did. Hear it? I did. I think what you need is the 97.5, the Fanatic breaking news sounder. and maybe someone to sit in the chair and break the news for you.
I need a producer. By the way, my producer quit after he got his iPad. Thanks everybody over here who said, get him an iPad, get him an iPad. I told you, soon as he got his iPad, he was going to quit. He put in his 2 weeks notice soon as he got his iPad. Now I don't have a producer. How about that?
You're the dad, though. You got to lay down the law. You got to take the way. No iPad until it shows up.
I'll just be happy that he takes out the trash. I can't push too much. You know these new kids today. You can't put too much responsibility on them. As they get depressed, they want to go to the therapist. Like, man. Yeah, he quit, Trey. He quit on his day off, yo. He came to me on a Tuesday. He was like, yo, you doing the show tomorrow? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't think I want to do one. What? How you gonna quit on your day off, yo? The fuck, man?
2 week notice, the day off.
But smart. Austin, man, thank you for coming on, man. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Krell TPL. I'm also, part of the Painted Lions. So subscribe to us on YouTube. But I'm always posting new articles, giving my 2 cents on different things in sports. So give me a follow. My DMs are always open. Any questions, any comments? Love talking to people. Prince, thanks for having me again.
Hey, listen, you're my guy. Like,
sure.
We go back.
For sure. And I'm always excited to see who's going to get which semi-famous reporter is going to get trolled next. Has Jimmy Kempski blocked you yet?
No. And
what?
I'm trying to figure out why. You know what I think it is? This is what I legit think it is. I think they feel like if they block me, then that's admitting that they read it, that it gets to them, that they care. Especially Kempski, because soon as I tweeted him his drawing of Eric Reed, he stopped tweeting me. ESP has it, and I wonder if ESP has it because I'm always joking and I'm quite close to John and I talk to Jack. So I think he's probably like, if I block him, then they're gonna get like, hey, your boy blocked me, he's a wimp, whatever. But this is my question for you. Oh, I know I wanted to ask. Like, because you're in the media, it's a fraternity, it's a brotherhood. So when you have somebody like me, like just throwing haymakers to people in the media, how does that make you feel personally? You can only answer for you, but how does that make you feel when somebody's taking shots to somebody in the fraternity?
Sure. So
you can be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, I would definitely say it's not like a fraternity. Like there are some people in the media who aren't as accepting of people in the media as others. And it can be cliquey at times for sure. But what I would say is that you look at the person who's clapping you, and you look at the profile. Do they have their actual face in their profile? Do they have more than 10 followers? Do they tweet about Donald Trump or whatever? and I don't want to get political, but do they? And so I sort of I'm like, okay, well, you're allowed to have your opinion. I prefer you express it respectfully, but this is Twitter. That's a dream scenario. They respect it. They do it respectfully. When you consistently like take shots, or when when I put something out there and you say like yawn, or like you basically imply that it's not valuable information, even though I know it is.
Who does that to you, Austin? Who does that?
There are a couple of people.
Who?
Do you know who Scotty Muir is? He's a Sixers guy. He tweets like K a lot. He just tweets one letter K, or like thanks for that.
Guy?
Yeah,
that tweets K.
Yeah. He's one of those.
I wonder if he's blocked me.
He blocks a lot of people. But you can't let it get to you, because when you let it get to you, you say things you shouldn't say, and then your credibility is shot, and then people want to target you because they know they can get you in trouble. So I mean, I tend to think to myself like, I mean, look, everyone's going to criticize. It's Twitter. You're just going to keep doing you, because eventually, I mean, enough people like you to have as many followers as you do. People like to read people like to read your material. People, I mean, like I've been a guest on WIP before, so I mean, and that isn't to like throw that out there, but it's also like clearly I know what I'm talking about enough.
Listen to me. You throw that shit out there, man. You grinding, you doing your thing. Other people put shit out there, how they on this, they on that. They have it in their damn bios, how they once talked to David Letterman. I'm making it up, but how they could be like, David Letterman once liked my tweet, or some bullshit like that. Whatever blessings you got coming to you because of your hard work, say that shit. Okay, you was on WIP, go on.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that clearly I know I'm talking about enough to get the respect of people who read me, listen to me, to have me on their, bless me enough to have me on their show as guests. So I don't let that kind of thing get to me too often. But there are certain things that'll tick me for sure. But I tend to not let people like there are some people I know out there in the media. I'm not going to name names, but they'll anyone goes at them and they're quote tweeting them and then they're blocking them 3 minutes later.
Yeah. Shander has me on mute. I think Ms. Anelli has me on mute. Natalie's blocked me. Tyrone's blocked me.
I wonder why.
I don't know why they would block me. A lot of people follow me. I ain't gonna say who follow me, but a lot of people follow me.
The entire 97.5 Fanatic Morning Show follows you.
Yes.
Jamie Lynch loves you. Mark Farzetta loves you. So
yes.
People listen, people are going to be negative because either, they want to be negative, or because they want to, they feel the atmosphere. They can do that on Twitter and not have to face any repercussions. A lot of people will DM me.
Some of them do. And I feel like that's what some of them do. And I said this, I don't know if you heard it, but I said that I normally go at people that don't have respect for the craft. And when I say that, people like you, Jay Bled, Berman, McManus, Shield Kapadia, even Pompey, even though I just make fun of him because his voice is nice there. They have respect for they're not trying to drum up shit. Like, I don't have, like, McLean, he's newsflash, he's actually a fantastic fucking writer. But I feel like he tries to dig too much for shit that isn't there. Like, you're pissing off Howie Roseman in a press conference, like trying to dig for stuff that's not there. And I'm like, dude, just stop it. And with Kempski, I actually did used to enjoy him, but then I felt like he turned into this complete, like, it's the funniest guy in the room syndrome, and none of it's really funny. And I feel like people like encourage him because he may like their tweet or answer to him. But I'm like, dude, actuality, you draw stick figures. I don't ever remember you breaking any fucking thing that I was like, oh shit, Jimmy had it first. You drew a racist ass Eric Reed character. And then you tried to tell me that middle-aged, not even a past middle-aged white man didn't know that drawing a black man like that is just not okay. So those are the people I go at. ESP, how he tries to come in like Skip Bayless, but he doesn't know that Skip Bayless was a is a prize winning author and journalist, and then he made this life for him later. But you're coming in here because why? Because Spike Eskin lets you tickle his little ball, so you think you can just say the dumbest shit ever. Like today, he said this Sixers related. Today, he said that he would trade Ben Simmons and
and
Joel
Joel for
Embiid for
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum straight up, and won't think twice about it. If that doesn't scream, pay attention to me. Nothing's going on right now with the Eagles. And he sees that Sixers Twitter is on fire, so it's like, let me dibble dab in there over there real quick, and let me see if I can get somebody to pay me some attention. That guy, man, I like. And you know what's weird? It's like if him, Jack Fritz, and Ike Reese are in a room together, and I come in the room. I kid you not, I would come in the room, and I'll be like, Ike, what up? John, what up? Jack, my guy, what up? What are you doing here, you stupid motherfucker? Like I'm not. It's not gonna change because I'm in front of you. It's gonna be like, why are you here? Like, what is your purpose in life? Like, are you a journalist? Like, I would legit be asked, like, are you a journalist? Elliot Shore Parks. That's probably not even your name. Your name is probably Nathaniel or some bullshit. Like, he's that lame that he thought Elliot Shore Parks is an entertainment name.
He does look like a Nathaniel. I will say that. He
I'm
did hit the
telling
name
you,
right on.
with that weak beard, like I would just like, so when I go at people in the media and stuff like that, number one, it's nothing that I wouldn't say to their face. So everybody can squash that. Like, people be like, you won't say that to their face. Really? You think I'm afraid to say something to Mike Missinelli, to Elliott Shore Parks, to
Nice.
Cataldi, to
Tough neighborhood.
Gargano, any of them, Tyrone, any of them? You think I'm afraid? I mean,
Mike grew up
let's
tough.
be honest.
Check yourself, bro.
Would you say, KM?
That Mike grew up in a tough neighborhood. We're reminded of that.
Yeah. Yeah, he grew up. He grew up with a median salary was 800,000.
Yo,
Oh, fucking Mike
I know
Missinelli, man.
Bristol. Bristol's only a block away from fucking Philly. Let me tell you what
Did he?
Bristol is not. Bristol is not this multicultural hood that Mike says it is. Bristol is the white meth heads of Pennsylvania. That's what fucking Bristol is.
Well, listen,
Bristol is the fucking
I've
armpit of Pennsylvania, bro.
I fought a couple meth heads in my day. They're pretty tough. They don't feel nothing.
Mike had the show. I said he fucking grew up with them.
And now he works with them. Let me stop. See, y'all getting me started, man. Listen.
I mean, I'll say this: like Elliott Shore Parks, by all accounts, I've never met him, but I've heard he's a really, like people who know him genuinely think he's a really good guy. They love him.
Yes.
Now, the one thing that if it were me, I would sort of get worried about is the fact that like you don't want other people who you work with and are in the industry to remember you as the guy who has like takes like I could luck into a home run, I could hit a jump shot on the basketball court, I couldn't hit a puck. Like I wouldn't want to be known as the guy who's like, oh, these are your takes, you're trying to be funny. Like that's part of where you quite kind of border in this territory of like I want to be taken seriously, and then I want to do what Elliot does, and I respect him. He works WIP, he gets paid to do it. That's great. Hopefully I can get there someday. But I also would want to. I think that you have to walk the line of like I'm a legitimate reporter, and then like whatever the takes don't help you become more serious, become more credible.
And that's where I am with what it is that I do. Like, if I do get a chance to join anybody's brand, or do anything, I never want Mark to call me and I'm Mr. One Word answer to him. Or I don't want to be that guy where I'm talking to KM, because I talk to KM every week, at least once a week on the phone personally. And he's like, that's not what Prince told me. Pretty much, I don't want to be that that guy that Mark
Hollywood.
has to defend. Like, well, he's really like I talked to Print Blue personally. That's my guy. Like, he's not that guy. I never want any of my friends to have to explain. I don't know why he's acting like that, and that's what I feel like with these guys. Because from all accounts, I don't know ESP. I don't know him from a can of paint. But what I know is his takes and his way he goes about his craft is trash.
Yeah.
So you telling me that he's a good guy, I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to a barbecue with him. I'm looking at him for news about sports, and he's giving me bullshit. So that's how I know him. I know him as ESP the dumbass. I don't know him as ESP the great reporter or the good reporter, the up and coming reporter. I don't know him as that. So that be my issue
For sure.
with
And I mean,
people.
and I think like one of the things that from like people who are who are bigger names than I do that I've talked to about, one of the things that people are so afraid to do nowadays is just to say, hey man, look, I was wrong. I put it out there. I had a bad take. I was incorrect about what I said. I take it back. So and so proved me wrong. I did that with the Jimmy Butler thing a week ago. I said, look, I was wrong. He's a winning player. He's a great player. He proved me wrong. I said what I said, and I own it, and move on. A lot of guys, they don't want to do that. They want to keep defending their takes, and and that's sort of where you kind of lose credibility. But I kind of pride myself in that. I try to be humble, a good person with everybody, but I don't want to also be somebody who is just so steadfast and is so like high and mighty and proud of himself that he can't admit when he's wrong. And I think a lot of guys don't do that. And it's not sad, but it's kind of like it's become like this robotic thing where that's how everybody is. And the way that you can actually differentiate yourself now is say, look, I was wrong. I admit it.
Right. KM?
Echo. What am I going to add to that you guys didn't just eloquently
You're right.
Like,
oh, man.
Echo. State your mind, and if the world fucking changes tomorrow, it's okay to change your opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay.
Okay. It's okay to change your mind when life changes. It's okay. It's all right. But
and I think that's one of the qualities that make people good. Like when you could be like, hey, remember when you like, hey Blue, remember when you said Mark Smith was a trust that guy? You dumbass. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck was I thinking? It's not, but if you're that guy, no, this is why he could have been. You're wrong, blah blah. People are like, huh? Like, why do I even talk to you then if you're never wrong? Like, that's so annoying.
Well, also it's just inauthentic. Like eventually you're going to hit a point where you're so blatantly wrong, and if you're still defending it, like guys like and I don't know football as well as Joe Dilio or Elliott or Parks do, but you're going to get to a point where obviously Carson Wentz is a very, very good quarterback. The more you try to make him look bad, the more inauthentic you become because you're just trying to die on the hill that you created for yourself.
He's a fucking fantastic quarterback. And let me tell you how ESPN people like him, they don't even know how to troll. You're talking to a troll, an elite troll. A troll is when there's a legitimate fact in there where it can be sort of right, but it's like, nah, you're out there. So what they do is they'll be like, Carson Wentz plays his best football. Like, since Carson Wentz can play without all-star players, then he should be able to get the current group to the playoffs. In theory, yes, but like in life, there's context. Like if his whole offensive line is gone, what do you expect him to do?
Right.
If he's running around and trying to make stuff happen and he's turning the ball over, that's context. Now, if everything is clear and he's fucking up, then that's different. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And I think what you run into is, number one, you diminish your credibility because you come off like you don't know what you're talking about when you say like Carson Wentz isn't a great quarterback. And then it's like, well, look what he's doing with the pieces around him. Can you really blame him for that? Like, can you blame him that his O-line is all injured? That he has, Greg Ward is his number one receiver right now. Those are the kind of you have to take ownership and say, the context says this. Obviously, I'm wrong. And a lot of guys they don't want to do that because they have too much pride. And that's something that's a mistake that I used to make, but now it's just sort of like I don't care anymore. I'm going to be wrong. It's going to happen. And the way that you recover from that is you just be truthful, and you be humble, and you just say I was wrong. That's it.
Okay. We got Red gonna come in, and then there he is, and he's gonna say what he got to say. We got like 5 minutes left, so we're gonna let Red speak his truth. And
what up, Red?
I'm not coming to start no shit. I ain't got long as I'm at work. I'm gonna say something real quick.
Live from work.
Y'all gonna get pissed off when I say it. So I saw y'all talking about ESP. So one of his takes he's fired off last night. Y'all ain't gonna be happy to hear what
I told you don't do it. I already tweeted you.
I'm sorry. Anyway, ESP is a fucking idiot. He says a lot of stupid shit. But this is one thing I guarantee you. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Ainge would trade Tatum for Embiid or fucking Ben Simmons. And I don't think he
wouldn't.
And I don't even think the Sixers could offer Embiid and Ben Simmons, and Ainge would say, "I'll do that." At this point,
you're right.
I just don't think.
But it's not controversial, though, Ray.
All right, I just wanted to make sure because some people around here seem to think that's controversial.
No, it was controversial because, like a typical troll, he tried to say it as in y'all are stupid, but actually we're smart because no, Ainge won't make that deal, and the Sixers won't make that deal.
No, they wouldn't.
So he's not really being.
But I'm gonna be one.
Not a hot.
I would love to get my hands on Tatum and get rid of Embiid and Ben Simmons at this point. Because I'm gonna be 100.
That's a hot take.
I would. That's a hot take. But I listened to. I got the audio version of that. Whatever the fuck his name is, the Tank It to the Top book.
Oh,
you guys have read that?
Yaron Weitzman.
Yeah, that shit. That did not. I mean, I one thing I will say, I came to not hate Hinkie as much as I did, but overall, the whole situation just sounds untenable at this point. Embiid seems like at this point they don't really the practices that they allowed him to get away with for so long. At this point, it feels like Embiid had to read that book or listen to the book on audio version because it was free. It doesn't sound that he's just gonna. I don't feel like he's gonna work out here, man. I just feel like they let him get away with so much shit, and now you can't tell him nothing. Even with a new coach, I'm not sure you can tell him anything because the ownership and the people that's in that building let him get away with so much for so long, man. Well, I feel like it's one of those things you gotta get a wake up call about getting traded.
Kind of off of that, and I think it's a good point. Is the fact that, and I'm actually writing on this now myself because it's something that I've observed. Not just Embiid, but guys like Marcus Gasol and Serge Ibaka and Jokic and Gobert. No matter how good of shape they're in, no matter how good of players they are, the simple fact of the matter is that they're getting played off the court in these series because the game has gotten so much smaller.
This is true.
And so like it's now wings are dominating the game. Jason Tatum types are dominating the game.
Right.
What they're doing actively is they're pushing the traditional big man out of the NBA. Yeah. And that's how the Celtics are getting their advantage. They're small, but it works so well because eventually they're going to get the matchup they want and they're going to let their guy go to work.
Correct.
And that's how, no matter who you have with Embiid on the court, unless you get a really strong, power forward to help him and be there in the right spots, he's going to get beat no matter what because that's the way the game's going.
But this is my problem, Austin. That's what Ben supposed to be. Ben is like a hybrid of a wing or whatever it is you want to call him. He's supposed to be that positionless player, right? This next coach is going to have to figure that shit out because Embiid's not going anywhere.
Well, he's not.
They're not going to get rid of Embiid.
He's not going to go anywhere. But my whole thing is if they're going to build around Embiid, somebody has to go. And reality is it's got to be Ben Simmons. Because I don't feel like you're not trying to hear it. But if they're going to build around Embiid, they need to go for it, 1 in, 4 out, point blank, with a good 3 a good small power forward that can play defense and shoot the
You
ball.
missed the beginning when Austin said what everything that he's hearing. That is the plan. Like it's going to be Embiid and Ben, but it's all shooters. Like nobody's untouchable. Besides Ben and Embiid, everybody else is on the table.
I'm at the belief that everybody should be touchable. Anybody you call me, make an offer. Call me, make an offer.
You're not going to build a new stadium.
They're not
without Embiid and Ben Simmons.
The cities don't need to give them motherfuckers no new stadium. The stadium they got,
just said, yeah.
Whatever.
They probably are, but I mean,
I'm a cash app them like $20.
I'm not cash apping shit. Our city can barely pay for fucking school books and shit, and to get these computers out for these kids right now, and they want to give the fucking Sixers some money. That's bullshit.
Since you calling from remote, Reg, go ahead with your 30 seconds, homie, so you can get back to work.
Get back to work. Well, all I'm saying is that Austin, I'm not gonna come at you about this, but Jimmy Buckets is a bad motherfucker. Now I don't know if they're gonna win that game tonight, but the fact that he got a chance to take that team to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Miami Heat is exactly what the Sixers should have been modeling their organization around. Strong will, you go about your business. You don't come in and you're bullshit. You're out of shape. You're gonna get called out for it. Just they don't take that shit, man. Ask Deion Waiters. Deion Waiters.
Pat Riley still measures body fat.
Right. Deion Waiters ran fucking act like the asshole for a little while. They ate the money and told him to get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
So, regarding like the trade Embiid thing, I think it's an interesting point because what I've sort of observed is that any trade value that Joel Embiid has is way more theoretical than real.
Right.
Like theoretically, he's like yes, like a complete player, like dominant as all hell. Sure. Executives around the NBA are terrified to give up assets for him if they don't know if his body can hold up. So I think if you're going to trade one, ultimately, I think that you'll have more success trading Ben Simmons.
Agreed.
But I do think that if you want to get with the times, maybe Joel Embiid's the one you trade. See,
this is such the hard discussion. To me, I just don't trust Ben Simmons enough to see myself completely building.
I don't trust either fucking one of them, so let them be together.
I don't trust either one of them. If I had to say I'm going to trust one, I think I could trust Embiid. Was outside of the injury factor, obviously. Ben Simmons purposely doesn't do things that we need him to do, like shooting the fucking ball and stuff like that. That worries me. That just worries me. I'm sorry. I watched other guys.
And Butler clutch free throws beat them 116-114.
Thank you. I didn't know who won the game, but thank you.
Wait, what?
Jimmy Butler hit
man.
Free throws. Yeah, Austin. Your take is looking bad by the day.
I gotta turn my DMs off real quickly. I gotta turn my DMs off. Oh man. That ain't good.
All right, go ahead, Austin. Go ahead with your 30 seconds, homie.
Oh man. That's all I got. I gotta turn my DMs off before things get bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me get mine. I appreciate everybody coming on. Austin, I appreciate you. Reg, I appreciate you always. You know that. Everybody, make sure you be safe out there. Like I said, some pretty big things happening. So we'll see where it goes. Everybody just stay tuned. Everybody be safe, be careful, and go Birds, go Sixers, go Flyers, go Phillies.
Hey,
Who's one back to run?
I got one more thing. Fuck you, Sixers. Fuck you. That's point blank, yo. Fuck the Sixers organization, yo. Point blank, yo.
I can't follow that. This has been Real Time. Everybody be good, and as always, just be honest.
Be honest.
Be real.
Be
honest. Be real.
And say fuck the Sixers with us.
And be safe. All right, y'all. Appreciate you all.
Catch you guys.
All right, buddy.
Later.
Oh, Reg.